on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files Bachelorette Recap Edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by the household of Allie, Amanda, and Derek. And returning to the show, you know her, you love her, friend of show returning, Cathy Kelley is back with us to recap The Bachelorette. Oh, it's been a long time. Cathy, how are you?
Great. It's warm in here and I wore natural deodorant today, so it's not working out great for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is.
There's a break-in period for natural deodorant.
I know.
They don't tell you that.
Yeah.
Amanda dies on this hill. And I was like, okay, I'll listen to you. And then like a week or two went by and I was like, Amanda, how long is this break-in period? I finally just went back to normal deodorant because I was sick and tired of waiting.
I feel like it's like 3 to 4 weeks.
I don't have that much
mine's
time.
been like 6 months and it's still not working for me.
Really?
Do you ever put on aluminum deodorant? Like in between, intermittently, very occasionally?
No.
Okay.
I don't know why I answered.
You aluminum, gross.
Well, I'm allergic to
this household.
I'm allergic to that shit, so I can't wear it. But thankfully natural deodorant works well for me.
Yeah, me too.
Good for you.
Yeah, no, I got
brag about it.
I got
Okay.
Flex that I didn't know. Of being like,
I didn't mean it
yeah.
as a flex, but no, I didn't realize it was. Like my armpits are fine for natural deodorant. Anyway, we have a lot to get into. I'm so excited that Charity has a bad picker. You know, I wasn't sure after episode 1. You know, it was too early to really make any concrete decisions, but she's a little messy.
I don't know about that.
No,
I don't know about that. No, we've seen it in the past though. Like Tayshia with a couple of her guys, like she had
Whoever said Tayshia had a good picker.
I do think she does. And I also have a bone to pick with you guys because I remember last season we were talking about who would make a great bachelorette and none of you said Charity. I think she's holding her own. She's like way more entertaining than we saw
so
on
far, yeah.
Zach's season.
Wrong on she is way more entertaining.
Yeah.
Than I anticipated, mostly because I think she's got a terrible picker and I think she's a little messy.
I don't know about that.
And she hasn't dealt with the fact that she was cheated on. Kathy, when you're watching episode 1
Yeah.
and Brayden sits down
Yeah.
and the first words out of his mouth are, I just got to tell you, I've been cheated on too. And just like, we can relate. And just like, that wasn't a red flag. Like if you sat down on a first date, and I understand it's The Bachelor.
Yeah.
So things move a little quicker. But this was literally their first, well, I don't know. Per what we saw, it was their first conversation. And the first words out of his, it's not like, hey, how are you? You know, just like I'm a little nervous. It's like, hey, I just want to tell you something. I know you were cheated on. I was cheated on too. And
he didn't say that when he came out of the limo.
No, their first conversation.
I know.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, they'd already had some conversation. Maybe there was something else that was cut out where they had even a few sentences and he was just trying to relate. Like, honestly, the first episode, I thought Brayden was normal. I thought he was like a giddy little school kid. And then he whips out these earrings in episode 2. That I'm like, you were just here to make waves on the show. Like,
what about what he did on episode 1 made you think he was normal?
Because there were other people that were weirder. I think.
Yeah.
Episode 1.
It's an entertaining cast of men. They definitely have some characters.
Yeah. I mean, episode 1, I don't think Brayden would be for me, but I don't think that he was someone that I would have cast aside as like out of the running for Charity.
I guess for me, it was more like my thinking Charity might be, just for lack of a better word, too boring to be entertaining because she comes across as polished and mature. She is a family therapist.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so the assumption is she's just emotionally regulated, just, you know, kind of how we thought Michelle being the teacher, you know. And yet, to me, when I watched it, like we said last week, it was just more like their first conversation, what I perceived as like nervous at the time, just kind of diarrhea of the mouth, being like, oh my, let me just tell you all my tragic stories. And I honestly thought someone like Charity would say, you know, would have this kind of self-awareness that either A, he's projecting some sort of insecurity or B, he's just bullshitting her because he knows that she was. And
I
she
wasn't
ate
getting
it
that
up.
vibe at all. I think that we see two different versions of Brayden. Maybe he's a Gemini. I don't know. But like we see this guy in the group of guys that's a little bit like I can see the other guys getting annoyed by him in some capacity. But then the way that he speaks to her is completely different. It seems like it's vulnerable. He seems well spoken. He seems in touch with his emotions. And so we're seeing she's not seeing the other side of him. She's only seeing this guy that like makes it very known that he's into her. And I don't think all of the guys are doing that well, especially in episode 1 going into episode 2.
But then we see her with the whole like Brayden Adrian situation at the barbecue. She is presented with the facts that he said things like, this was a classless move. And she just kind of is like, well, interesting. He didn't tell me that.
Because he explained it really well.
Yeah, but she didn't ask follow-up questions.
Cathy, hold on. Cathy. I'm with Allie here. Her brother warned her.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there was that. Her brother.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then like, well, what's his name? Bring up the bio, please. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian didn't name Brayden, but
he said the spring break thing.
But no,
I don't think Adrian presented it well either.
No. But when Brayden sat down, he said to Charity's face, I questioned your character. And it just was right over her head.
I know.
Yeah,
I was shocked.
was...
I was like, in Bachelor Nation, that is the C word. Just like character.
Yeah, literally.
Yes. That is like, you do not question it.
They're both C words. So just go ahead and say it.
Oh, wait, cunt?
Yes. It would be like. Yeah. No, but you're right.
Can we get a Jim Jeffries on it?
It was like it just glossed right over her head. I would imagine like someone be like, wait, you questioned my character?
So there's that thing in like philosophers talk about this all the time of someone can say things that are actually true and you still disagree with what they're saying. And I think that that's Brayden because he comes in and he's had so many things where like the men came home and they're like, yeah, we had a great date. He's like, that doesn't sound like a great date. That's true. That is true. Yeah. Like there's a lot of things that he says that are valid, but I think that there's something in his underlying.
Oh, his delivery in that moment was just more timing and delivery, and like it wasn't about he was making a situation not about him.
But don't you also say this every single season? Like the leads already know their top 5. I don't think Brayden's in that for her, and you have to bring along some of the drama.
Interesting.
That's entirely possible.
Like, why would she bring? I don't think she's interested in Adrian or Brayden, but she still has to. She knows this is my job.
That's a valid point. That like for love her as a human, great person. I was never really into Corinne. Very entertaining. If you go back and watch my season, I just don't think you're ever gonna like see a moment where you're like, yeah, Nick's really into Corinne. Like I'm longing and looking at her and like staring into her eyes. Like, you might think, oh, like Corinne's an attractive person, and you might,
she has her legs wrapped around.
Yeah,
Nick
and then like,
house.
and if you like think, like if oh, Nick just wants to, like you might have thought something like that. But Charity, first of all, not that Charity is her own person, but the Bachelorettes have a history of the first impression rose being a very significant moment. They usually win. And if they don't win, they're like in the tops. And Charity, from my vantage point, likes Brayden. Like she seems giddy around it. And when she looks at him, he could like, I question your character. She's like, oh my God, you're beautiful. Oh my God. Like, oh.
You should question my character.
Yeah, oh my God,
that's how I know you're taking this process
I
seriously.
question his character after the earrings.
Oh my
God.
It's like Jack Sparrow going to Forever 21. Like, it was awful. Oh my God.
Like that man looks fresh off of a wellness retreat where he was texting the whole time. Like I feel like he went to a wellness retreat and got nothing out of it.
I do love that we're seeing a little bit more of Jesse Palmer's personality and how he was able to call out Brayden, because I feel like they've been like just in the past, we've seen both Chris and Jesse be more robotic in their delivery and stuff. And like, it's just nice to see someone acknowledge those things.
Yes. Yeah.
Props to Jesse, but I've kind of forgotten Chris Harrison ever was the host of the show.
Yeah.
I mean,
he
no
fits
disrespect.
the mold very well.
But like, yeah, Jesse.
The first couple seasons, it was a transition, but
weird,
now it feels,
like Chris obviously the mainstay and so long, but like Jesse's, I think they did a good job hiring Jesse because they didn't want to change it up. and Jesse fits right in. It's like
found another suit.
The one thing I did notice in this episode,
Chris Harrison never existed.
I did notice in this episode, Chris had more of like formality. Like he would have wrapped up that rose ceremony by saying, "Gentlemen, please say your goodbyes." And Jesse goes, "Fellas," and I was like, "Oh my God."
When he said "fellas," I was like, "Are they going to start singing and snapping?"
But that's one of our like gripes of the past few seasons is the Bachelorette franchise is one of the few that hasn't evolved with the times. And like I feel like so many of the dating shows that are doing really well right now don't take themselves as seriously, which is why we love Bachelor in Paradise so much. So to have at least a little bit of that where it's more casual and
like
with the times.
I mentioned earlier, it's something to consider for all those who watching. It's a very much new leadership now. Mike Fleiss is no longer a decision maker. And, I don't know how much Mike Fleiss, I don't know how much his input was, from a day-to-day standpoint. I think he was one of those guys who just like, when he got bored, he decided to like be obnoxious to all the people who worked for him,
just like swing his dick around a little bit and make some choices for people who had the information to make choices.
Yeah. But also I think he would roadblock certain things, especially when it came to more progressive choices. When it came to like, whether it's casting or storylines and things like that. So it's just something to consider, if we see, significant changes or things that seem more fresh or Joey's family's story, like, oh, amazing, and we'll get into that. But like you have to wonder, not that they didn't have any progressive moments in the past, but it'll be interesting to see just how different, if at all, you see kind of an evolution or what change of a direction you see the show take now that Mike Fleiss is no longer has absolutely no input as far as my understanding in terms of the direction of the show. So kind of interesting. This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar. Now get 20% off every IQ Bar product plus free shipping when you text FILES, FILES, to 64,000. IQ Bar, baby. Hey, all you on-the-go people who are looking to nourish your body and make sure that you are not filling your body with a bunch of crappy ingredients, you got to check out IQ Bar because they're delicious. First and foremost, they taste great. Because so many of you, like you're out, you're busy, and you just feel like you're torn between like eating something you enjoy or eating something healthy. It's just like such a dilemma. Well, IQ Bar is allowing all you busy people who are on the go to get the snack and nutrients that you need and still have a great tasting meal or snack.
I love IQ Bar. For me, like when I'm trying to pick a snack, like I just really want something that has like a lot of protein, ideally like not a ton of added sugar. And with IQ Bar, it's like so many grams of plant-based protein, such a small amount of sugar, and it's all natural ingredients that like genuinely fuel your body. And it's like, it's vegan, it's keto, it's gluten-free, it's all of the things. And so it's really nice because like no matter what dietary restrictions someone might have, you've got them covered, and it is like, it tastes good. I cannot say this enough.
IQ is great for your body. It's packed with plant protein for strong muscles, prebiotic fiber for a happy gut, and healthy fats for clean, crash-free energy. They come in 7 mouthwatering flavors like toasted coconut chip, almond butter chip, my favorite peanut butter chip, and banana nut. You won't believe how good they taste, especially considering they have next to no sugar or net carbs. So get your IQ Bar on today. Now get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, just text FILES, FILES, to 64,000. Get your discount. That's right. Text FILES, FILES, to 64,000. That's FILES to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. Hello Fresh. Speaking of busy on-the-go people, well, if you need more than just a snack, you gotta get your Hello Fresh for some amazing, delicious meals. HelloFresh has just jam-packed with a variety of great tasting, easy to make meals. If you've been in a relationship or by yourself, like the burden of what do I eat tonight? Oh, do I have the same thing over and over again? There must be something new in this world. Well, let HelloFresh do the work to get you a variety of delicious meals, all variety of your proteins, your vegetables, and again, so easy to make. Most of their meals, you could take less than 20 to 40 minutes to make. Super easy to clean up.
I got 3 new recipes, which are great, and I really wanted to prioritize being able to make things very quickly. All of my recipes can be made in 15 minutes or less. And what I really like is I feel like oftentimes when you get certain meal kits, all of the ingredients are just kind of thrown together. And then it's up to you to like be like, okay, so this one is for this recipe and this guy has to go here. And I always end up using the wrong thing. But what I really like about the HelloFresh ones is that they're each like bagged individually. So I know, okay, this is for my chicken meal. Okay, these are for the wraps I'm going to make for lunch. And so I love to take my HelloFresh over to friends' houses and cook them together. So I can just grab the bag and know that I have everything I need in there.
And for all you people who have enjoyed the wonderful Every Plate in the past, well, HelloFresh now owns Every Plate. So you can get the same great reliability, great options, healthy foods that you got with Every Plate now with HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/VIALL50. That's VIALL50 and use code VIALL50 for 50% off plus free shipping. Again, go to HelloFresh.com/VIALL50 and use code VIALL50 for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Anyways, let's, well, I'm sure we'll get back into the Brayden and Charity of it all, but kicking things off, yeah, now we're in LA. Charity has a one-on-one with Aaron B.
Yeah.
Was Aaron B, that was the guy that Charity's brother particularly liked? Was that right?
Didn't Aaron B...
He played the piano.
Isn't
he
he
did
a
the
dad?
double-sided coin thing.
Is he a dad?
No.
Adrian's a dad, and who else is a dad?
Spencer.
Well, R.I.P. Spencer.
Which one's Spencer?
He was
had
the
the
one who
facial
had the kick me in the
expressions.
nuts entrance.
Oh, yeah, the guy who looked
Yeah, he was pretty sus.
the medical sales.
Memorable.
Yeah.
He had like I said, douchebag written all over him. I thought.
Yeah. He. I don't know what to make of him.
I was confused as well.
Yeah. I felt a little overstimulated by his.
Like I said, the fact that he was a
personality.
medical device sales director, I don't trust him.
Isn't that what you used to do?
Yeah, but
Wait, you went from med device to software?
yeah.
Okay, and what's the difference between the two for like the layman?
Oh, one you're selling medical equipment, one you're selling software.
But like cultural.
I don't trust it.
No, cultural, not much. Yeah, I mean,
there
listen.
like a different mentality?
Well, med device is a little, software's more nerdy. You do have to probably know a little bit more. You would think medical device, you need to know a lot because it's medical, but no. I mean, they want alpha jocks. They want super,
Yeah.
You're
just selling equipment.
Is
Very
this kind of
expensive
like
equipment.
investment banking where it's fine to do it for a few years, but the people who make a career out of it, you're like, I question your choices.
The premise is doctors tend to be nerdy people who don't have like good business acumen, and so like
These are the guys that like wine and dine them to
Yeah.
make them make $100,000 machine purchase. Like
Yeah.
that's
and so they want to like hire guys who doctors want to hang
Yeah.
out with because they think they're cool.
it's like a car salesman,
Oh
but
my
like
God.
actually like
Yeah.
taking you to dinner, taking you out to a club, whatever that is.
It's not about like medicine or medical stuff.
Wasn't
It's just
Megan
like,
Fox's
do you
character
wanna
on
hang
New
out with
Girl
this
a
guy?
medical sales rep?
say that again?
Megan Fox's character in New Girl was a medical sales rep.
You know I haven't watched it. Yeah.
It's a great show. You should.
I think it's going to be part of our going to bed lineup.
Going to bed lineup.
If you needed to know. So Aaron B gets a lot of callbacks. And if any OG fans out, the episode 2 is very identical to episode 2 of Desiree's season.
Interesting.
You might remember that.
Well, that's when you were talking about how Mike Fleiss is out and it's this whole new group of people. I was actually thinking, other than Charity's brother being there in episode 1, it seems very, very, very formulaic at this point. And I wish that there was some
It is
new ideas in there.
But like Desiree went on a one-on-one with Brooks. It was their
Okay,
first
yep.
one-on-one, and they went to literally the Hollywood sign.
Love Brooks. Yeah.
Which is a kind of a cool experience. I
Yeah.
mean, as someone who's lived in LA, like it would be cool to be able to go.
I was thinking,
below
what
the
a cheap ass date.
Yeah.
Like, at first, until they brought out the dinner and did all that
But
stuff.
like just the
but-
Hollywood sign it's not
to
it's
be able to go there and not get arrested is kind of
kinda
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
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 But Charity wants a love like the Hollywood sign.
Mhm.
Like,
Says no one ever. Yeah.
Why would you talking about how glamorous Hollywood is? I'm like, that's the place where the only place in my life where I've stepped in human feces has been in Hollywood, California. And it wasn't my fault, is what I will say.
I
100 years old and everyone wants to tear it down.
So far, I feel like there are several instances where Charity seems to be willing to say a fed line.
Yeah.
And that is a good sign for us. Because
Yeah.
again, some of these decisions that Charity is making, we don't know if it's her being a team player. Maybe Charity is, sees the big picture. Maybe she, and if that's true, I give her a lot of credit because I think a lot of times they are casting leads who, have only had a limited time, their time on their respective season. They don't know the behind the scenes. They're very worried about not looking good.
Yeah.
And they, the producers aren't necessarily, there's not a lot of trust. And by trust, I mean, they keep them in the dark as the leads often are kept just as much in the dark as the cast members. It's like a very much a need to know basis.
Yeah.
Because they want an authentic reaction. Some people they might trust a little bit more because they get that they get it, but like either Charity is like willing to say like these stupid lines like I want to love like, do you want to love like the Hollywood sign?
I mean,
I want to love like a Hollywood sign.
Are there leads that were really good about taking the producers' notes or lines or whatever that is and making it their own so it didn't seem as cheesy? Because I know that we've seen the opposite of, I think Clayton might have been an example of like fed a lot of lines and it just came off like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't really speak for anyone else in terms of how they were able. I just can't imagine anyone saying, I want to love like the Hollywood sign.
Well, it seems like they're trying to assign meaning to this date that didn't really need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Charity, and perhaps like what is gearing up for a good season, is that she seems like really earnest to give people and situations benefit of the doubt and like have a positive reaction to it, which I think is like such a wonderful quality to serve you in life. In The Bachelor, I feel like it is something that is maybe, I feel like will be more of a liability for her down the line, but it just feels like she has a very like wide eye, like look on the bright side approach to stuff.
Yeah, listen, and it's not even a criticism. We give advice on this show. I've made a career out of it. Like, I have made terrible decisions for myself when it comes to relationships. I've had a terrible picker. I've made just atrocious decisions for myself. It's not a criticism to her as a person. It just makes for great TV, and it's just something I wasn't necessarily expecting. And I think we all have our toxic qualities when it comes to our own relationship life. And it's one thing to like offer perspective to our friends and whatever. But when it comes to us, like, we can be messy. And I think Charity is wonderfully more messy than I have anticipated.
Yeah, I feel like open-minded people are like a lot easier to fuck with, I think.
Well, it just feels like she's willing to, she can see it and she hears it. Like whether it's the spring break comment, whether it's the classless comment. And she'll even articulate how that doesn't sit well with her. But I think I'm missing like, okay, then what do we do about it, Charity?
Yeah.
What conversations do we need to have? Who do we need to send home? And maybe that'll happen. It's only episode 2.
It's early, but yeah.
Can I just say, I like at one point during the second episode turned to Allie and I was like, I'm from the Northeast. Like, I've lived in like mostly like cities my whole life. Like, have you ever heard someone who like talks like that with that like specific intonation? Allie was like, no way.
How
Like,
does she talk?
She has just like a very specific way of like, she laughs and talks and she has this like idiosyncratic like rhythm to her where
she
it's
has
like
a unique delivery. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like I feel like she's kind of like, even when someone's like, when you laugh, but you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I feel like she says a lot of stuff like that. And then she also has like the Southern twist.
I also think it's even more obvious that like it's like, oh, that is unique because we've heard her brother talk, and I don't feel like he speaks in the same way.
Yeah.
So it's not even like this is.
So just to play devil's advocate a little bit, Nick usually does this, but I feel like when she was talking to her brother in episode 1, she was saying like, oh, I can hold my own, I can stand up for myself. And then we did see in previews her saying like, just because I gave out a rose doesn't mean I can't clip it off.
Yeah.
Like, I do think that she has that in her. She's just waiting for confirmation, maybe giving these people the benefit of the doubt until she's like, no, this is not right for me.
Oh, yeah. But I think that tracks with what we're seeing now, because what I was worried about going into the season was this incredibly level-headed.
Yeah, family therapist.
Yeah, emotionally mature, who just always even keeled, just kind of see things coming before they happen. And, as opposed to leading with her heart, getting, being physically attracted to someone. Because I think she just thinks Brayden is super fucking hot, I don't, but I think she does. I think she does. And I expect eventually she'll figure shit out. Or something will happen and she will react. And I wasn't expecting a reactive Charity. And I think, when we make these decisions, and I don't know if you've made terrible decisions for yourself.
Of course.
But,
all the time.
When we do, and then and the lights come on, all the feelings of shame and embarrassment, our egos get activated, and we're like, so we react because we're mad at ourselves, we're mad at them, and that's how we become reactive people. And so I'm expecting a reactive Charity. So very excited about the potential of this season, because when she finds out, I want that fucking, and get all mad and start taking back roses and yelling at these guys. It'd be great, as opposed to like, how do you feel? It's just like, well, like I was expecting kind of a more level-headed, thoughtful approach.
I feel like my favorite character arc in Bachelor Nation is like the southern girl who starts off like sweet as pie, and then he's like, "Fuck you guys, Hannah Brown." I love that so much.
I know, it's great. It's so great.
When Hannah literally came back in at that one cocktail party, and she goes, "None of you know anything about me because you've never asked." Like she's just like you're so caught up in your own drama that you're actually not even here for me.
And it's all in the eyes. Like you can tell in the eyes when it's coming. You're like, "Fuck yeah, go off on them."
Moving the rose ceremony altar.
I'm still here. Well, fine then.
I've said this before, but the best seasons, especially I think when it's for Bachelorette, is when you fucking hate when the Bachelorette likes someone that you fucking hate.
Yeah.
Like then that's a potential great season.
Would you identify as that person?
What do you mean?
For the seasons that you were on.
Well, they were great seasons.
I don't think I've watched. I know I watched Andy's season. I don't think I ever watched Caitlin's. I don't think I got all the way through yours. And my friends have asked. They were like, "Can we just skip this season of The Bachelorette and just rewatch all of Nick's seasons and kind of just make like a book club out of it?" And I was like, "This sounds great."
No, yeah.
Can I go back and watch? Can I give you my thoughts?
I watched it with my mom first thing when I got this job.
Really?
It was Christmas break. We sat, we just watched your season.
Let me learn about my boss.
She was like, "That's your boss." Okay. Okay.
Have I told you how I reacted when they announced you as Bachelor?
No.
Okay, because I'd never watched Bachelor in Paradise, so I literally had forgot you existed. And I was like, who is this man that they have pulled from the bowels of Bachelor Nation, and why is he the Bachelor? But here you are.
That sounds more like Ari.
Yeah, that was also an interesting choice.
I will say, every time I see like a Brayden pull shit like this, I definitely feel shortchanged, where it's just like they made a lot out of nothing with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you go back and watch even Andy's season, like when I got the first impression rose, I was like shocked and like giddy and like
you weren't wearing a 3-piece suit,
humble,
and
and it wasn't until like episode 5 after like Eric got sent home, they're like, fucking need something here.
Yeah.
And,
you are the drama.
And all of a sudden, everyone just woke up and decided to fucking hate me.
Can I just say, kind of like focusing in on the Brayden drama on the group date, like the exchange between him and Adrian, specifically regarding the MVP title, I thought was some of the most like middle school boy shit I have ever seen, when he was like, it's kind of like when someone joins the team halfway through the season and they still get the ring, when they were going back.
That was actually kind of funny.
It was so funny. It was awesome to watch.
Yeah. But it completely moronic to care.
Yeah.
It's just like, or even Adrian, it's just like, he's like, how did I not get, no, wait, it was your boy, it was Caleb. Caleb's all upset.
Caleb with a K?
Caleb the wrestler. Caleb with a B. And the guys were like, "Oh, Caleb's a machine. He was doing so well in dodgeball." I'm like, no one cares. It's dodgeball, guys.
Literally.
Like, what is like... So, they literally thought that Charity was going to pick the best dodgeball player. It's like, what?
I mean, that's what they presented it as. So
no, I know, but like,
Caleb, you really pull off that neon thong.
Sorry that
also, what
they
the
were
fuck
all
was
playing by the rules.
Jesse wearing on the beach? He showed up in like skinny jeans and a buttoned up blazer. It just did not track for the beach.
He's like summer beach wedding casual.
But you're the officiant.
Yeah.
Also, can I for any of the I know some of the producers listen to this show. A lot of them do.
Hi.
Hi, by the way.
Hi, producers.
Y'all need to start doing a better, like,
Oh my!
Just-
You're about to get some feedback.
Here's some feedback. They do a terrible job of investing in their of like using their investment. And what I mean by is like previous characters, like these dodgeball, like they've done it a couple times. Like they had Wells do it once. I think they've had maybe even but like, and no disrespect to whoever they had, it was Jessie, Charity, and seems like a delightful woman, and she seemed to have been some sort of athlete out of LA. I don't know. She literally said nothing. They didn't air her say anything.
Yeah.
Like, bring your alumni, bring some of your fan favorites, bring JoJo, bring whatever, bring Tayshia, bring Hannah Brown.
Jesse bring one of his sports analysts.
Sure.
Like friends,
well, no, actually,
something.
specifically, I think they should bring alumni. No, actually, no.
Politely, no.
But I just think like they have this franchise, this recurring show, like, build up your talent in a way.
Don't
like,
just bring back the boring, successful Sean Lowe's for all of Zach's season. Like, bring back some of the fun, memorable people who shine on a group day.
Justin Glaze's expressions.
They bring these obscure people.
Yeah.
And like not just your past two leads or whatever. Like use the show to cultivate talent and maybe someone they want to like highlight in Paradise. They do it sometimes, but like those moments where they're commentating, they bring these people.
I think it's for the teens, because I remember being a teen, I thought Olympians were a bigger deal than I do now. I still think they're amazing, but I feel like when you're a kid, you're like, Olympians are the shit. Like they did it. Like they did the maximum effort.
They are.
And so it's like, I feel like when I was like 14 watching that, to be like, oh my God, she's the best female snowboarder for the pipe category, or like whatever it is. But yeah, as an adult,
I think in some of those
really
moments
hit.
where they could have like Andrew Spencer, how good would Andrew Spencer, he's funny, whatever, to like go out there and maybe he has some funny one-liners and things like that.
I wanted to see Justin's expressions as the dodgeball game ensues.
I don't expression. I want some good one-liners.
Is it a budget thing? Because I know we've talked about that the Bachelorette gets a smaller budget than Bachelor. So
no, they could get
sure.
any alumni to do that for free.
Okay.
They probably.
Nick is on the beach. He's just waiting.
Like the people in local news who are like waving behind the TV reporter.
There's plenty of alumni that would come in and like because in such a situation like that would be fun to like ham it up and like tell some jokes and have some commentary.
Especially when they're in LA, they don't have to have anybody travel.
I just think there are certain times they'll bring in these obscure people, and I don't know. I don't get it. Like cultivate your talent. Like the multiverse of like all these other brands.
The Bachelor Cinematic Universe.
Like why don't they do a better? They could do a better job of that.
BCU. Come on, build it.
Before we move on from the dodgeball date, I have not met him, but I know that Caleb B is signed to WWE currently.
Oh,
so as a pro
better
wrestler.
looking than
His
I
name
imagine.
is Cale Dixon.
Cale Dixon.
Yeah.
What?
You have a like
Alter
all
ego.
of the superstars have their own names.
But why that? I understand having a fake name, but you chose wrong.
Why?
It's a very
Cale
wrestling
Dixon?
name.
Are you a lettuce or are you an appendage? Like I literally don't know.
I don't know.
Leafy dick.
Sounds like a decent wrestling name.
Cale Dickens?
Dixon.
Yeah, first, you're not listening.
Yeah.
All I heard was Cale Dick.
But he did do a 316 for Steve Austin on his body when he was.
I did ask. So I asked Allie because I was
I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, is that a Bible quote?
No,
Being Jewish, I
it's
wasn't sure.
It is.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I literally was like John 3:16,
So
for
it's
he so
tattooed
loved
to
the
his
world
chest?
that he
No,
sent
no,
his
no.
only son.
on the dodgeball date, I think he drew it across his
He
chest.
did.
Yeah.
He did.
Like okay.
Yeah.
And so I
recited a Bible
and
verse
Allie
for
did say
Amanda.
she was like, this is one of the more mainstream basic Bible quotes.
Oh yeah.
Is what she
It's
told me.
like
She was like,
I'm more of like an Ecclesiastes 3:1, but like yeah, your basic batch.
Corinthians, But yeah, he far more attractive than his biopic. His biopic was not flattering.
no.
You said that they're all very tall this season. I remember
Giants.
Joey saying that night one, but
Poor
They look
Joey.
like. I mean, again, like what's his name? Xavier. He's 6'6". They've said
love
this, and there's
Xavier.
Oh yeah, he seems
oh
great.
my God, he's so.
I'm Team Xavier.
We need to.
He's gotta win.
hot and funny.
I told Amanda, I was like, I will find him. I will fly to him. Like where he is now, I do not know. I will find him.
He should win. If again, I don't know.
I hope he doesn't for me.
I think Charity might have a bad picker,
I
so
hope
we'll
he's
see.
runner up, so that way he's in this office in a few months and you can shoot your shot.
Yeah, he's hot. He's tall. He's athletic. He's
and he's
smart.
got good energy. Like he feels like a right combination of like he's in it and he's like playing along, but he's also like not being way too high key and like aggressive about stuff.
She seems like she has a lot of good potential connections this season.
Yeah. Also,
She seems most into Brayden.
No.
John seems like
not
it
gonna
seems like her
last.
and John.
What's not gonna last?
John is very
but-
sweet.
He
I
seems
like
like
John
a
a lot.
sweetie pie.
Yeah.
He's the one who got the group date rose.
Also the fortune cookie night one, I thought that was so
Yeah.
cute where she opened it up and it said, "You're gonna end up with a guy named John."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah. It's cute.
Yeah, that's
He's
good.
funny.
Sweetie pie.
Yeah. Anything else from dodgeball other than very athletic? Oh, it's freezing there.
Oh.
Clearly, it was freezing.
Mm.
You didn't. The guys were like Xavier was shaking in his ITM.
I mean, it's not been great weather in
It's
LA
been terrible
the last
weather.
yeah.
6
and
months.
in Venice,
so
it's even colder, and that's
Yeah.
probably why Jesse had layers on. But like, it just wasn't like a weird fit or
Yeah.
it's like popping out of a blazer on the beach.
Poor guy.
Anyway, Aaron B's one-on-one dinner portion,
Oh yeah, we talked about the reveal. He's in therapy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
which I love that.
Good for him.
Someone said in the notes alludes to minor infidelity in the past. I didn't necessarily get that.
There were he
alludes to
said
being
that
a
he
bad
wasn't
boyfriend.
a great boyfriend. So
But then he said But then he went on
I
to be
feel
like, I didn't listen.
Have active
and I was like-
listening and shit like that.
I was like, I would
that's
say
code
that's a
for you
pretty.
guys. Gotten some fights.
So
some
I
fights.
didn't pick up on infidelity. I picked up on this motherfucker's jealous.
Oh.
I kind of
Interesting.
I got like
some
toxic
orange
jealous,
flags.
like some like jealousy vibes and like because he
I mean, then the producers are doing their job. They set him up to have a connection
yeah.
first or second week, and then he's
Yeah,
gonna snowball into
yeah, that
this.
classic early one-on-one
Yeah.
will get you. Yeah. But yeah, I picked up on the way he was describing things. It's like this guy, because what did he say? He said something that, like, oh, like his ex, like with flirting or like something about them, how they were interacting with other people. I don't know, but I was just like, is this guy
Yeah.
jealous? Does he get kind of reactive and mad and possessive and things like that?
Okay, I remember what you're talking about. And yeah, he kind of brought up her flirting with other guys in reference to like him not really like listening. And so I think it was like, I sort of was like, oh, was he emotionally unavailable? Like, was he just kind of like stonewalling her? And so she was like trying to get attention and like
Yeah.
would like, find herself crossing certain lines.
then
Like
he'd
maybe
get
that
you-
wasn't straight
yeah.
up infidelity, but like she just felt like really like closed, like he was closed off in the relationship and not like participating.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. But yeah, I don't know. Watch out for some potential jealousy with Aaron B. Yeah.
Before we move on from Aaron B, I have a take about his coin.
That it was kind of creepy.
Yes.
That it's
Yeah.
Manipulative?
Yes.
It's double-sided.
No.
Like
And only
they
works in The
laughed it
Bachelor.
off, especially the line. It like kind of made me uncomfy where he was like, "Okay, heads, I get a kiss," and I was
Mhm.
like, "You already know that that's what it is." So like that's kind of forcing the situation. She did say yes, like she agreed to it, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like so casual. He's like, oh yeah, it's double sided. And I was like, ha ha ha.
If he had just used it for the entrance and then told her the shtick inside,
All
that would've-
season long,
Yeah.
he's just pulling it out. All right, well, coin flip. You know,
It's literally like the final rose ceremony. He goes,
Heads, you pick me.
we propose and
Yeah.
get engaged.
He's gotta like sprinkle in some losses though to keep her unsuspicious.
Mm.
You know,
You can't with a
with it, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like intentionally be like, okay,
It's
tell us
kind
what
of like
this one-
that TikTok trend where the significant other brings them two note cards and they
Yeah.
have two options
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to pick the note card.
like what do we do? What do we think of Adrian? Do we think looking out for charity, or do we think snitch?
the duality of man. I think he might be both. You know, like I don't think that he's like a malicious shit stirrer. I think he's also like not being particularly productive or helpful.
But, like,
yeah,
why-
the delivery wasn't
Yeah,
there
like,
for me.
Why isn't the 33-year-old man just let the 24-year-old boy just bury his own grave?
Literally,
Like,
yeah.
We've seen this
It's-
every season though. Like
it's-
every single season.
They're-
It's so formulaic. Whoever brings it up.
You're
If-
done.
Yeah.
And they've been there for 2 days?
Well, and
Yeah.
he goes, when Charity left the barbecue, and then they're like, well, who was the last one to talk to her? And he's like, I was the last conversation. And then he's like, and why does it always just have to come down to the honest guy? Why are we blaming the honest one?
Yeah, you're honest. You're just, nosy.
Yeah. I feel like if he hadn't been so petty during the MVP conversation, I might give him a little bit more benefit of the doubt of like, oh, maybe he's just someone who has like a really strict standard of integrity, and he felt like it was his duty, you know, and but then he was like, I don't know, he was kind of petty. So I was like, oh, you felt a little bit threatened. And so you wanted to swoop in and feel in control and be like, you're the good protective guy.
I think if we track down Adrian's exes, he would, or just like women who have interacted with him, they would be like, this motherfucker mansplains all the time. Because like, why isn't he just letting Charity figure it out?
Yeah.
You know? Even
if it got down to like final 3,
sure,
maybe say
right?
something.
Like if it got to a point where it's just like, hey, listen, like she's not picking up the signs like I thought she would. But like even when he's just like, you know, like some guys are like, you know, maybe we'll give him a pass for talking about like the environment of the house, right? Like the spring break, everyone's just fucking around. But when push came to shove, why couldn't he just say like, listen, Charity, I have so much respect for you. You don't need me. Like, and honestly, like, maybe I'm projecting, and maybe you're going to see things differently. I trust you to make decisions for yourself. Like, he could have said something like that. It would have come across much better than like this fucking hero. Like, he's been there for 2 fucking days.
2 days.
I mean, even if some of the other guys aren't the biggest fans of Brayden, which I think we see a little bit of, they aren't as triggered by him. Yeah. Like, he seems to be very, and if you were that easily influenced, or like your emotions are that easily swayed by someone being in your space, that's not a great sign.
Yeah, and it's like sucks for Brayden. We were actually talking about this yesterday in the office. Like the Bachelor world is not a place for high fashion.
That's high fashion.
I'm just
for
fashion,
any kind of risks,
any fashion risks of peacocking of any kind.
Yeah,
like I think the women who watch The Bachelor, they want to fall in love with a guy who looks great in flannel and sweatpants. Like the more basic you are and the more boring you look, but also look good, I find like that's the winning recipe in Bachelor Nation world. Like bracelets, scarves, earrings, you know, stripes, polka dots. Like I think it comes across as performative and peacocking. Because you're like, it's just in your surroundings.
It's just wild. It doesn't look authentic to him.
Literally.
Like it looked like he did this intentionally to make waves on the show.
But name a guy in the history of the show that like took risks and didn't get crucified for
I'm
it.
just so confused as to why he showed up normal night 1.
Yeah.
He was dressed like a stockbroker.
Yeah.
You know, he had that
from
pink
Wall Street to like the hippie English
That's
professor.
Why I think it's a shtick. Like I think that he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's come into the show as like, okay, night 1, I'm gonna be normal, get picked, whatever, and then I'm going to
because he
be flamboyant in scarves and feather
ITM,
earrings. And
when he was saying, he was like, I got these fucking earrings and this fucking velvet shirt. And I was like, if that was genuinely your style, I don't think you'd comment on it that much.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't notice that. You wouldn't flag it.
Wear it.
I don't know, because I'm sure getting asked about it and mentioned, you know.
That's
so
what he wants. I feel like he like gets off on like this, like
totally.
I'm not like the other girls.
I have a hard time believing that he's got these earrings for the show.
It's giving pick me, because I feel like there's some dudes who paint their nails and I'm like, go off, go in. You're having so much fun. You're like expressing yourself. You're participating in fashion. Some dude paint their nails and I'm like, Tom Sandoval. And I'm like, you little pick me bitch. You think I'm going to trust you because you think that like we relate on this level and I don't.
Yeah, he thinks he's like being like
he was putting on those earrings being like, bitches love earrings in the mirror.
Do you know Neil Strauss's book about, it's like the pickup artist? Yeah. Have you ever read that?
What is it? The game.
Yeah. So basic something.
I think it's called The Game.
So basically, in this book, he talks about peacocking, and so that's why in the early 2000s you saw all of these men in huge fluffy hats walking around in like skin tight leather pants. Walking into a club, and he's like, you can, if you are not the best looking guy in the room, you can still get any girl. And it almost feels like Brayden's
read the game,
doing the advice to a T, because it also talks about negging in the book, and you're supposed to criticize the girl, especially when she has a lot of options, because then she's going to come back to you. You criticize her, and then you compliment her, and then you criticize her again. It's a very weird, like manipulative.
It's like the opposite of like in management. If you're having difficult conversations, giving feedback, it's like a compliment sandwich. It's like compliment, difficult feedback, compliment, and then like negging is like the exact opposite.
Absolutely.
Of that.
No, he's screaming fuckboy. He's from San Diego. He's one of these kind of San Diego boys.
Doing yoga on the beach.
Yeah, traveling nurse. The only reason he's a traveling nurse so he could go from city to city.
Yeah, so he can go do ayahuasca
Yeah.
in like the fucking like somewhere
and
on the
get on
beach.
Tinder in every new city and just
Yeah.
like have a bunch of sex. Like, but yes, you're absolutely right, Cathy.
Watch him be like an amazing nurse who's like dedicated his life to medical service and
he could be.
He could.
Yeah.
Yes, I did just want to say like he could be very committed to his career and enjoy that.
And also, he might be a goddamn delight. Think about Tom Sandoval. Like, Tom Sandoval, probably very charming, great friend, and as long as it doesn't come in conflict with his like emotional needs and wants. But he'll be loyal, there's
especially with Tom Sandoval, he is one of those people that I've never watched the show, but from the outside looking in at pictures of every single season, that there's something messed up with this dude. And it's one of those things, we talked about this before the show, but it's this psychology thing where if you haven't met a person, your instinct will tell you who they truly are. But when you meet them, you start to have empathy for them and you sympathize for them and with them.
Yeah.
And I think that Brayden might be an example of that.
Yeah, he's very charming. He knows what he's doing. He's confident talking to women, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And Charity ate it up.
Oh.
Ate it up. She's completely fooled by it. Yeah.
For now.
Dear Lord.
For now.
Need a break from reality? Ever feel like you just want to escape? Well, cheer up, Buttercup, because Paramount Plus has your great reality escape. That's right. Escape into new seasons of the biggest competitions like Survivor, Big Brother, The Challenge, World Championship, with the biggest and boldest personalities like the family Stallone, RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, and Queen of the Universe, and the wildest drama, like Are You the One? Plus hundreds of previous seasons, all streaming at your fingertips. See, reality ain't so bad. Your great reality escape awaits you. Paramount Plus, stream now.
Should we move on to the next group date, which will inevitably circle us right back to Brayden? But the kissing world record.
Yeah, kissing world record. They love bringing back Sean.
I remember
just
watching
are
that
obsessed with
scene
this guy.
on Sean's season. I remember watching it with friends and...
But also, I'm confused because didn't Evan and Carly do a Guinness Book of World Record longest kiss in Paradise? And that was not The Bachelor.
No, I remember that.
But they literally broke the Guinness Book of World Record longest kiss.
Bachelor and Paradise. They're two different things.
Well,
No,
I would
know.
rather have a Guinness Book of World Record than the longest kiss.
They just
on
didn't
The
want them to
Bachelor.
be there for 3
They just wanted a
hours
reason to
and
bring up Sean
whatever.
Lowe. They just wanted to let you know, like one of our most successful bachelors. He's literally the only one who's still with the.
It was the hottest kiss because they ate a pepper while they did it for Evan and Carly.
It was the hottest kiss.
Oh.
Yes, they ate a habanero pepper.
I do think that there was something where they tried to break the world's Guinness Book of World Records hottest or longest kiss,
Yeah.
right? Or maybe it was like longest submerged in water kiss or something. I don't know. Something weird.
Anyways, they just wanted to mention Sean.
I feel bad for the guys because they really didn't get to interact with her at all. It was just them sitting. You know.
They really didn't. They got really no charity time because the daytimes of the group dates are not about. There's no getting to know the lead.
Yeah.
It's all just out in the wild.
At the party afterwards, you get a little bit of one-on-one time, but they didn't even get that.
Yeah, I so appreciated when Rachel was like, he's looking at you. Like, I was like, I respect that she is consistent.
Callback.
Yeah.
She was fucking pissed when the men didn't look at her and she noticed it. She was like, they're doing a good job this time.
Yeah.
Like, she has her standard and she sticks to it.
Yep. It's unlike that boxing wrestling match when no one would catch her eye.
Yeah, Rachel really was shortchanged.
Yeah, I also I felt like she was doing the most as host of this date. Like, I felt like she was so earnest. She was leading in. I was like, go off, queen.
Well,
like,
I think like Rachel was always a big fan of The Bachelor, and I think being the Bachelorette was kind of a bit of a dream come true for her. And listen, like I just think Gabby is just naturally charismatic and naturally confident, and I think it just if you're gonna have two leads, it's just. Unfortunately, someone's going to most likely outshine the other.
I mean, it's also when you're less attached to an outcome, you're more able to be yourself.
Yeah.
And so if you are a fan of the show and you're like, I need to make this work, you're going to potentially self-sabotage in ways or psych yourself out. Yeah.
And also like the 5-year age difference between the two of them, I'm like, those are 5 formative years. Like the difference between a 25-year-old girl and a 30-year-old woman.
Dude, like 2 years ago, I think was a formative time.
Totally.
I'm older than both of them.
It is
so
a big difference.
Yeah, especially in terms of like the way that you internalize, like feel like you're being pitted against someone. So it was great to see them back because I felt like they were both like thriving, and it was like, oh, good to see you.
Would any of you want to participate in the longest kiss? I would find that to be
uncomfy.
Yes.
Well, what are the rules? Because I feel like
they were making out. Their lips weren't.
Yeah, because Charity did say, she was like, when she was going through her kiss criteria, she was like, I like a swoop back, a fall back and return kind of thing.
That's a longest makeout.
Yeah.
As opposed to a longest kiss. I felt really uncomfortable when they had to show the kisses and they were doing them on the back of their hand and then to the microphone.
I hated
Like,
that was gross.
I didn't want to watch that.
Because they want
uncomfortable moments.
They're
they
trying
to
make fun of psychologically. This is the beginning. Yeah. They're like, you're ours now.
They want to give us shit to make fun of them. It's a gift from the producers. Like, why would they do that? Like, why would they put them in Speedos so that we can
producers,
go, ew,
we have
and
given
yuck
you
and
feedback.
gross.
We now thank you for this moment. Compliment sandwich.
Why would they do that?
But I just mean, like, I feel like of other, like, for example, the date with Lotto, when they were like bad bitch energy and they were like, walk on the stage and be a bad bitch, or like dance in a circle and show them how you're a bad bitch. It's still like cringe and difficult, but it's like,
I don't remember that date at all except for Zach saying bad bitch. That's like we're permanently scarred in my brain.
Like I never thought that man would say that, but like
I only remember that date because of Jim Jeffries recapping it.
And Zach stood there and just earnestly like, this is about really showing
this
the
is
truth.
about
mansplaining what a bad bitch is.
Like, no.
But like at least some of them like fucking rocked it. Like Brianna when she came out with that fucking money gun. Like with that, I'm like, money gun. I could see how some people would look hot doing this. Nobody looks hot making out with air. Is what I meant by the like. Why would you have
yourself?
Them do that? Okay, you're right. You're right.
Why don't we try it right now? Just make out with your microphones. They're right there.
No,
we'll decide who gets a rose at the end
Nicholas.
of it.
Just be like, what if someone like did something really like cheeky for one of the kiss dates? Like, do you think you could do a bit and it would go over well?
What do you mean?
Like if it was like blindfold kissing competition and then someone went in like just with their tongue. Like, do you think it would just go over like egregiously?
Have they ever had a blindfold kissing competition in The Bachelor? Because I know they do that on Love Island a lot.
We did that on Perfect Match,
kissing
right?
competition be?
It'd be like the Bachelorette's blindfolded. She's gonna kiss all of you, and then from kiss alone, decide who she wants to spend more time in a hot tub with.
Oh,
it's like what they did in Perfect Match, right? Or they like ranked each other's kisses.
I don't remember.
But like a Bachelor.
They do that on Love Island every season, and it always creates drama.
Yeah,
because they have to guess. They have to guess who is kissing and try to guess their partner that they already currently have. But
I would be.
But they're forced to make out with other people.
Yes,
I'd be like I'm gonna put my tongue in your lower lip and nibble, so you know it's me.
Ew.
You better give me a.
Ew.
Joking. I wouldn't do that.
The word nibble, it has the same effect as like panties.
No, that's what has anybody like? What would happen if someone was like went into really trying to like be silly? For a kissing one specifically.
They probably wouldn't win.
Yeah.
That's what would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Gabby, I actually missed that. Gabby and Rachel canceled the night portion. I love how they made Gabby and Rachel cancel. But yeah, it literally turned into a one-on-one, which actually makes sense because I was surprised
that there wasn't a one-on-one or another one-on-one.
Well, no, actually not. No, I'm
Don't
actually,
they usually do for episode 2? It's a one-on-one, then a group date, then another one-on-one.
It changes.
Okay.
It changes, but actually, I'm stupid. Usually do have 2 group dates just because there's so many people. There's only time for one-on-one. So they kind of mix it up here.
Did anyone not get a date?
I don't think so because they usually make that a big deal.
Yeah.
And if anyone were to not get a date, it's always the first impression rose person.
Yeah.
And clearly, Brayden got.
They needed him there for the drama.
A date.
I did like Joey's answers. He killed it with everything.
Joey's little dreamboat.
The bit at the end was so sweet. Like, how could she not?
He's guaranteed a hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta meet Dad.
And front runner for Bachelor.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh my God. Yeah.
Right. I mean, he seems like
he's still a little young though. Like I feel like he checks off a lot of boxes.
He's 27 as far as Bachelor goes.
So he'll be 28 maybe by that time.
Totally fine.
Should I sign up?
Do you want to live in Hawaii?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good looking.
Bye.
Tennis pro, but like, yeah, his family story's super unique.
Yeah,
super
seems
cool.
very emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, he's
for
got
his
this.
age.
His dad came out, and his parents still have this relationship. I want to see that hometown.
Yeah,
It's also
Like, it's a guaranteed hometown.
I think there's something about like sharing an experience where he's like, this is what my childhood was like. It was really happy. Like where so often I think when people are like sharing stuff that's like close to the belt, like it's usually like a form of trauma that either like we have heard or we haven't heard and it's new and shocking. And it was like nice to hear something that was like a little like not something we've heard from other contestants where it wasn't framed as like a one up of like how much I can get you to feel bad for me, which is I know some people are genuinely trying to be vulnerable, but I think so often on one-on-one
Sure.
like sob story competition.
Yeah.
And with this,
especially early on, and we don't see that in normal dating. Like you're not going to share a story where you both end up crying on date 1 or 2.
right, like biggest red flag in the world. Or
What's the biggest red flag in the world?
like getting I was saying that and then I'm like, I'm sure I pulled some shit. Like just like getting really intense on like sharing the kind of stuff people share on
Literally
one-on-one.
Brayden sitting
too
down
emotionally
going, "I've been cheated
vulnerable
on."
too early to try to create a false connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all done that shit. But like, as you get older, you realize it's not necessarily
The best behavior.
yeah, it's a little toxic of you, or manipulative, or just or you're a little pick me.
Yeah, it's coming from a place of wanting the other person or wanting to feel more emotionally connected and vulnerable.
So let me ask you this: back to Brayden. I know you disagreed with me about like, but now that you've suspected that maybe he's watched like the game and you see these kind of signs that he is following this literal playbook, do you think him very quickly trying to relate to Charity about past infidelity is more of a manipulation tactic or sincerity, or like of a projection or whatever?
I mean, I think early on in this dating stages, I've shared that with people just because like, and it's not like a go into full detail about it, but it's I've been cheated on in the past. Have you ever cheated? Because that's like a deal breaker for me.
No, totally. But like, do you do that like as soon as the first round of drinks come on a first date?
No, I do it when it feels natural.
Yeah,
and
but that's what Brayden essentially did.
I didn't take it as like an unnatural moment for, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Like I say, like there's a lot of things that he says that I actually agree with, but I don't like, there's something about him that is off-putting.
No, I get what you're saying. You're right. I mean, like
he even says like, oh, I didn't want while the first impression rose is great and it's validating, like I don't want a rose, I want time. That's actually like, we would hope that a contestant would say that, but a lot of the guys I think just don't like him. So it's when you don't like somebody, everything that they say, even if it's nice or true or whatever, you hate.
It's like confirmation bias of like they're already going and looking for like things to like dislike about him.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but rightfully so. Like, and again, who knows how much is edited, but like they sure make it seem like, again, episode 1, that he just wouldn't shut the fuck up. Was he who was the one who told Charity's brother that they don't like they don't like skinny girls and they like curvy girls?
Yeah, he was like, I don't like petite women.
Yeah.
He's still on the show.
Who
I thought it was
that?
Brayden.
It might have been.
I thought it wasn't the boat.
Oh, the
yacht?
captain,
Oh, that's
Michael?
right. You're
Yeah.
right. It was the
Michael.
yacht guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he still there? I don't think so.
Like cut to Charity, the most petite woman I've ever seen
yeah,
in my
she's
life.
like pretty petite.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like,
Do we
Bridget's
think
stunning, but
some of the guys don't like Brayden because of ego? They're like, why is she choosing him, this guy that wears these weird outfits and whatever? And they're like kind of hurt by it. So that's why they don't like him.
Probably a variety of reasons, but I don't think his scarf and earrings are. Yeah, I agree with you all that like I think he's always been like this. I don't think like Brayden like got casted for the Bachelorette and like decided to pierce his ears and get obnoxious earrings. I think he always does shit like this. But I think it also is not truly who he is. I think it reads as insincere and peacocking and performative and things like that. And I think a lot of guys are picking up on that just because he's also, in addition to the earrings, he is peacocking and he is kind of talking about it. And he's like, oh, I didn't want to like come across as like, how do you not think that's not annoying?
I mean,
but I do also think that when you're really stressed and somebody else isn't stressed, I think it's very easy to be like, fuck, you don't care. You're not taking this seriously. Like, because he was kind of saying, like, in his defense, he's like a little more carefree. Like, I'm thinking about Noah right now, another travel nurse who, like, on the season was kind of billed as like villain stir the pot energy.
Those travel nurses.
Yeah, there's something about them.
Yeah.
Like, they got a little glint in their eye that seems to really trigger people. And like, but then we saw him like with Abigail in that relationship, and he wasn't a fuckboy. He was very committed to her.
It's also people's different approaches to dating of like, I come at it maybe a little bit more serious and like having gone through therapy and read self-help books, and I have friends that go in and they're like, I just want to have fun with this person. And if we vibe, like, that's great. And they're my person, you know, like, so it's just different people come at it. Like, just because someone is coming at it as a fun experience doesn't mean that that's
the
bad for dating.
Right.
Braden's Instagram is Braden Bowers Official. Like, calm down.
I wish that the leads could look at
I was trying
people's
to find
Instagram.
Totally.
You can learn so much from what someone puts out there.
Is put their Instagram on the screen and be like, and go through it.
100%. Like, how in this day and age, like, I don't know if the producers are so worried about like giving them like clout or attention, but we're well past that. Like
the
come
lead
up with
can
the
look
times.
Through their following list and see how many Insta models they follow.
Yeah.
Yes. Liked photos.
Their Explorer
I love
page.
that.
Their Explorer page.
Show
how
us
many
your TikTok
shirtless
for you page.
selfies.
Everyone. Yeah.
I was trying to find tagged photos from like years ago to see if his style has changed, but he doesn't have anything tagged before like 2022.
That's a red flag.
He started a new account in
Smart.
2022.
If you're going to go on the show, I would just delete all that shit. He's a super handsome guy.
He said he started a new account in 2022. Figured I'd start a new account.
Oh, that might be a red flag. Yeah.
I mean,
what are you hiding,
yeah.
Braden?
He has no ear piercings in this photo. That was in 2022.
Well,
really? Huh. That's a huge.
that looks like a
He's in
normal.
his Hawaiian frat outfit. You know, like the Hawaiian shirt in a very fratty.
Did he
way?
create a whole new account just to get cast on this show?
No ear piercing here.
No ear piercing.
Seems more on brand for him, though.
Like, he's wearing flannel. He's running.
Oh, there's his ear pierced.
There we have ears pierced.
First sighting.
July 9th, 2022. Was he in the Army?
I guess, yeah.
Interesting.
Army. May 7th, 2023 marks the official end of a big chapter in my life. I consider myself privileged to be a part of something so much bigger than myself, and I'm so grateful for all the opportunities it has afforded me. Swipe to see the celebration.
What is he in the Army? Yeah, go Army.
So he always had personality.
Yeah, he's a goofball for sure. Yeah, in big personality can often read. He might even be a swell guy, but he's a little fuck.
He might even be a swell guy.
There's a dangly ear.
He's a 20.
I love it.
He's
It's
a good-looking 24-year-old.
It's so true. He might be a swell guy.
But he's definitely a fuckboy. Nice smile.
A nice swell fuckboy.
Most
but
of the
Charity
guys on
has
the show,
no
fuckboys.
business liking this guy 8 weeks away from her potential proposal. She has no business. She should see the red flags, and she doesn't, and it's awesome.
I think he's a big, like, loves love kind of guy. Like, it seems like he's very much like he really wants to love someone, but it might not be like, I want, you know,
Yeah,
he wants
his
to find that
mom-
partner.
If he makes it to hometowns, $1 million, his mom goes, he loves hard. You know, like one of those situations.
I don't think he's making the hometowns. The previews, it seems like he gets a one-on-one date rather, and they go to the San Diego Padres baseball stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember when those photos got leaked.
So that my guess is next week. So because they're not going to spend that much more time in LA.
I kind of predicted that the whole clipping the rose off was about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
It felt like that.
I mean, it's so.
Like, he gets a rose on the one-on-one date, and then maybe towards the cocktail party, she overhears something, or it's presented with more information as like, okay, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying watching him. He's the best TV on the show by far, and they are coming out of the gates hot. They can only keep him around so long before Charity just starts looking bad.
Yeah.
And so I wish they would pull back. Like with Corinne, we had to pull back. I was like if you want America to meet the nanny, like we can't keep doing this. You know,
Bring
like
us Raquel.
I'm gonna look like an asshole. She's gonna look bad. Like we had to pull back a little bit, and like, but yeah. So either Braden's gonna have to pull back, either like because like they could easily they could easily protect Brayden a little bit just for the sake of drama, in the sense that, like, instead of having the Adrians and whatever, like, go to Charity and tattle and things like that, they could just be like, don't worry about it, it's fine.
Yeah.
They could also not show that shit. You know what I'm saying? They could let Charity develop a relationship, because I think most of the guys probably aren't going to care or spend their time, and they could just send an Adrian home. So either they're hoping they have other drama with other guys, but like they seem to be just letting Brayden kind of do his thing and burn out sooner than later. But if he gets a one-on-one like in the next 2 weeks, I could see him going home on the one-on-one.
Yeah.
Well, what did we make of him being so offended by the kiss date and the men watching? Do you think Brayden was like, oh, they're saying I'm like on spring break. They're saying I'm not taking this seriously. Like, I am taking this seriously. I'll show them that. Like, I don't think that feels like spring break. Like, do you think he was trying to kind of be reactive to this narrative that he was taking it too easy and was just there to have fun by overreacting? Or do you think he's just a huge hypocrite who's like, whatever, guys, I'm just easygoing. Sorry about that. Cut to like him having a huge issue.
My bags are packed. I'm going to leave. Because like,
literally.
have you seen, like, maybe he's like, honestly,
I think
he's 24. He might have literally never seen this show.
He's more of a realist, though, because that doesn't sound like a great date.
Yeah.
That really doesn't. And all of the guys were coming back and they're like, yeah, it was great to see her. Yeah, maybe it was great to get out of the house, but was that really if you could have chosen a group date knowing you had to go on a group date, would that be what you chose?
Yeah.
And then get sent home before having a night portion of the date. That sounds sucky. So I think he was just like,
kind of calling it what it. I don't think that was a group date. I think that was a Joey one-on-one where they were like, how do we fuck with all these other men?
Yeah.
Like, how do we rub it in their face that like Joey is very charming and like very lovable?
Well, it wasn't so much a Joey one-on-one, because I don't think they, they let Charity pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they went in saying this is going to be a one-on-one for Joey. I think they went in saying this is going to be a one-on-one for somebody.
Yeah, I guess maybe it could have been after the fact once they knew he won. That's how.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter who it was, but yes, they wanted a group date to turn into a one-on-one because it would piss people off.
I have a question. What do they do if on a date like that, like multiple men came up with the idea of being like, wait, I'm going to describe today as my perfect kiss. Like, if two men do it, like, what happens? Did our producers like one of them change it?
No, I mean, they could do that, or the other guy would just come across as unoriginal. Whoever went second would have to.
You're fucked.
You're fucked, right? So it would be like,
have to come up with a new story.
yeah, they would either get a reaction shot of some guy being like, I was literally going to fucking say that, or if they had a guy just literally do the same thing, they would call him out for it. You know what I'm saying? It would have turned into drama.
I also think it's so interesting because every single season we see it set up as like the date cards come in and it's Charity has chosen this romantic date for you. And so if that's how it's being presented, Brayden might, I don't know, I think he's smarter than that, but is there a possibility that he thinks, oh, Charity chose this date to have the longest kiss and then have every other man watch?
Maybe. I do think Brayden hasn't seen the show. Like, I would believe that if I met him, he's like, honestly, I just never fucking watched it. He's only 24, right? Like, he's been in the army. Is it so hard to believe that he's like never watched this fucking shit?
I bet he's watched it with his mom.
Or I was gonna say, I bet he has like a female best friend and she's in love with him and she submitted him for the show.
Sure, whatever. But I just don't think he's a student of the show, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think I think you are getting kind of authentic reactions where he's just like, this is nuts, Where other guys are just like,
it's just weird to see a normal person,
Yeah.
someone having a normal reaction to what we just saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a terrible look he should know, even if he hasn't seen the show, to sit here and criticize Charity as if like she was doing something
This is
wrong.
out of character for...
And literally, the fact that he told Charity to her face that he questioned her character and she decided that was a charming thing to say is awesome. And then Adrian tells on her, like, it's funny because like she hears it differently now. When because when you hear about someone talking behind your back, it sounds so vicious and manipulative. But by the time Brayden had to like be the last to get the rose, and he's like, she was trying to soothe him.
Mm-hmm.
She was telling him to relax and breathe and calm down. She didn't want to give him the last rose, and it certainly wasn't her call. Like, they don't, Bachelor, the lead doesn't come up with the order that they call names. So like, that wasn't her choice. That was for the show. And you could tell she was trying to, like, in her own way, let him know. She was trying to soothe him. He was never going home. Not a chance. She fucking likes this guy more than she should. And I don't think it's bullshit. I don't think it's for the show. And I do think she's been given she's been shown enough that she should have given him the last rose for her reasons. And I feel like she should be, like, on edge about this guy. But right now she wants to like him and she wants to ignore the red flags. And I think it's so awesome.
Haven't we all been, like, romanticized a little bit about someone for the first month or two until you finally, like, it hits you over the head and you're like, what was I doing this entire time?
My entire 20s.
You like get this major ick almost for yourself because you're like, what?
It's like
did
putting
I
on
see in this
emotional
person?
glasses where you're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I dated this guy with, like, literally would wear rose-colored glasses I'm like, it was so douchey, but I dated him for 10 months and I was like, what? Now I look back and
He was
what?
so confident.
No.
I wore those
No.
indoors. And I was like, why do we put the pink glasses on indoors? Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's we all, like, my entire 20s I did that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I just think it's great that I just didn't expect this.
I
from
think she'll
Carrie.
come too.
Well, I
Sooner
also-
rather than later.
And I do think a lot of therapists are probably more emotionally in tune or aware than, like, the average Joe. But I'm also, like, I feel like in therapy, like, you're not necessarily geared at, like, giving definitive or, like, marching orders. You're, like, helping someone explore how they feel, and you're trying to kind of explore all sides of the story. So in that way, I could see how, like, there's actually ways that, like, being a therapist going into this environment, like, maybe she to Brayden is like, what could inform his behavior? Like, she's probably really humanizing all these men
Maybe.
and, like, really, like, not just, like, taking their behavior for surface value, but, like, kind of creating, like, narratives or stories or, like, considering a little bit more about them,
Well, it's
which
also
could be
just-
really confusing as a lead.
just easy. So much easier to give other people advice because you don't give a shit. You're not
Right.
emotionally invested. The outcome, like, has no play on your life and your decisions. It's completely different when you're making decisions about, like, your life, and then you have to, like, go through that conflict between, like, you know, why do you really want this? Do you want it? Do you need it? Is it your ego? Is it your heart? All these things, you know, like, what will it say about me? What will people think? You know, it's a nightmare. You know, it's such a different thing. You know, when you're out there telling someone else, be like, hey, listen, I think you like them for the wrong reasons. I think you're chasing this. You can be the righteous person who's just like, you just like them because you're hot. Meanwhile, you're just like, you know, you're like some superficial person who's only dating models. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much easier because it's not your life. You know.
I feel like last thing is I think you should leave sketch about the zip line made me laugh. You know, the one where it's like about the guy who's like, I think you're only here for the zip line. Thinking about Adrian, like if he lived in that world and like the smackdown that would have transpired between him and Tim Robinson really tickled me.
Oh, yeah. You should guys watch that. So I think you should leave.
You're choking down your food to go use the zip line more.
And then when it cuts to the guy who's like running it, he's yanking on the rope.
And it's like we have Joe here from Adventure 365. And he's like, he pulls on the rope, he yanks on the rope. He's just too aggressive
He's too
with the
rough
rope.
with it.
Anything from the barbecue other than Brayden and
Oh
It
my!
ending early.
Well, I
What?
don't know. Sean's forehead was on full display. Here's my vision. We show a different photo of a different screenshot of him with Allie as a kid for every episode he's in.
7-year-old Allie?
Just keep getting screenshots.
We don't have to.
Unfortunately, he didn't grow into it like Allie did. Yeah.
Hey,
They can't all.
we can't all be so lucky.
Is he still on the show?
I think so.
Sean?
Yeah. It's kind of like he got bangs, though.
Who's
Just
gone?
on the side.
So Spencer's gone.
Spencer went home. The two Calebs. Now we're down to just one Caleb.
Caleb with a K.
Caleb
went
A
home,
and Caleb with a K went home.
Anything we're missing?
No, just maybe some predictions for hometowns.
I think Joey. I feel like Xavier should win.
I
Yeah.
love Xavier.
I think
Did Dotton go home? How do you pronounce?
No, I think she likes Dotton.
He's still there. Okay.
Yeah.
Or some guy.
it's hard to tell who.
I feel like they used to show them all going off, and they did, but
Yeah.
it was
quick.
They stopped doing
Yeah.
that.
Fellas?
they did. It was just very quick.
Aaron B seems like he's going to be around for a while. Joey. Rest in peace, John Henry.
Gone
Rest
too
in
soon.
peace.
Also, and a really snappy dresser. I gotta say, just
Snappy.
Well, I was mortified by the. I feel like we went in like a time machine back to like 2005 with some of these suits that these men like. What is with these like presidential power ties? Like, stop wearing fucking red politician ties. It's so like, ugh.
You get one pair of pink Pumas and you're like, these presidential power ties.
No, I just think they're. I thought the suit choices and like the tie and undershirt combinations were.
It was giving Reagan.
It's honestly, I think though, like women have so many options when it comes to dressing, and these men are packing for how many weeks? I feel like these men are wearing a suit once or twice a year, and it's the same exact black suit with a white shirt, a black tie. So if you have to come in, you can't do that 8 weeks in a row.
No, but like John Henry, for example, had a very, very stylish, very put together gray suit, nice bow tie. It was clean. It was sharp.
Not a bow tie girl.
Well, either way, it was stylish, but like it was just like a bright red. Like these guys were running for fucking office.
Maybe they will one day.
You're better off wearing a black suit and a black tie every rose ceremony.
Yeah, look like you're going to a funeral.
There's a reason
more
why
than a presidential
it's called
debate.
like a classic look.
Mhm.
It never gets old.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you don't like a bow tie?
I don't like a bow tie. I mean, I don't like a red tie either, unless it fits the
What's that?
occasion.
How about a bolo tie?
A what?
Honestly,
cowboy tie.
some people can pull them off.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
like Caleb, wrestler Caleb might be able to pull up a bolo tie.
Didn't John? Can you do me a favor? Google John. Like he said, he played professional basketball. Like,
Who?
did he
John
play in
Henry?
Europe? No, the other
Oh,
John.
John.
Group date Rose John.
We like other John.
Yeah. In a season full of guys who are like 6'5", he doesn't seem to be one of the 6'5" guys, and yet he played. Now he might have meant Europe, but either way, that's incredibly competitive. He's one of those shorter guys, and he's played professional basketball. I'm just curious where. Yeah, there's like at least 6 or 7 guys who are over 6'4" on this season.
Crazy. Not much on him.
Uh,
Maybe on his Instagram.
He went
I
to
know.
University of Minnesota, Allie.
I am not a Golden Gopher fan.
No, but Minnesota. Experienced manager, data scientist, and researcher with a demonstrated history of working in healthcare, finance, and technology. Interested in the fields of
Type
data
in
science.
basketball.
Nobody wants to hear his LinkedIn bio? Yeah, I'm not seeing.
Where did he play professional basketball? He said professional basketball.
Maybe he meant college. That's
That's not
not
professional.
Professional?
That's literally the opposite.
Yeah, you're not being paid for it.
I don't see anything about basketball on Google.
So he's a liar.
So he's a liar.
I don't
Oh
remember
yeah, that I know when he said it because he goes to Charity. He's like, yeah, I played some sports, and then Charity goes, yeah, I did some cheerleading, and he goes, that counts. It's like, no fucking shit. Whoever, she wasn't asking you a question. You imagine
do one of those goddamn flips and tell me. that
imagine
some
someone
people
going
would-
like, hey, do you play sports? I'm like, yeah, I play soccer. It's like, oh, that counts. It's like, I know. Like he was like letting Charity know that he was some sort of enlightened progressive guy who also thinks cheerleading is a sport.
I wish she said that to the highest jumper as well. That counts.
Chris. Oh,
Counts.
yeah,
Yeah.
God.
He didn't last long.
Well, all he did was jump.
I was like, he gets super insecure. He's like, jumping is a sport.
Jumping.
It's regulated. There's rules.
All right. Well, I think that does it, right?
I think that'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kathy, always great seeing you.
Thanks for having
Just
me
an
on.
absolute delight. Please, again, continue to let the people know what you're doing. I know you're crushing it over at WWE, all the other projects. Please plug away.
Yes, you can find me at on the WWE TV shows, Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown. And I will be on Instagram at Cathy Kelley, on Twitter at Catherine Kelly.
Oh.
Okay. What about the TikTok?
TikTok, it's Cathy Kelley.
Okay. It's Cathy Kelley.
Mhm.
Okay. Make sure to follow Kathy on all those platforms. Check her out on WWE. She is crushing life. We always enjoy having you on,
Thanks for
Kathy.
having me on.
We will be back tomorrow, Thursday.
Yeah. This is my dog now, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, Kiki's living her best life.
Tune in on Thursday. We have Marie Forleo with us, life coach of the stars. I don't know if she's the life coach of the stars, but she is a life coach, and she's actually a credible one as opposed to other people we have seen in the past. But a really great conversation with Marie. Just, generally being your better self. Really informative conversation. So Please tune in, check it out, all while you are having fun. Happy 4th of July, everyone, for who is tuning in. I hope you're being safe. Don't blow off your fingers. Protect your eyes.
Use protective eyewear.
Use protective eyewear.
And use protection.
Yeah, and use protection. Yeah, herpes doesn't go away. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.